the management of movement across the borders.
Okay. Some Quarters-born peers have described Kenya's borders as being porous. I'm just wondering, what are these immediate challenges that you're dealing with at the moment, and how are you fixing them?
I think it's good to put things into context or into perspective when you talk about the porosity of our borders. So case in point, our border with Somalia, you are talking of a stretch of about 800 kilometers. Our border with Ethiopia, another 600 kilometers. We have a long stretch again with Uganda, and then of course Tanzania, and then of course there's the stretch that we also have with South Sudan. Now, it's interesting, particularly take the case of our border with Somalia. One, you look at the terrain, and then just the sheer length of that distance. It's like moving from Mombasa to Busia. You can imagine what that means. And then even in terms of infrastructure, there's a huge challenge on the infrastructure that exists in that part of the country. And it then means that even if you wanted to put several points of entry and exit, there has to be huge investments in that particular space. Now, there are also concerns around security, forgetting about just the length and breadth of that particular space. And then there's also the conditions around that place. It's largely an arid area. So yes, it's proper, or it's okay to say that we have a porous border, but then that needs to be looked at against the context of the distances that we are looking at, and also the geographical features along those border points. But having said that, what are we doing to address the porousness of our borders with our neighboring countries? One is that we are constantly opening up several points of entry and exit, which then would help address the concern on the porousness of the border. But then, of course, there is also the challenges around insecurity, which we are also dealing with. Coupled with that, then there's also the development which must also happen, so that then these very vast arid parts of this country are not left behind when the rest of the country is developing.
Mm-hmm. There's been definitely massive focus on the Somalia-Kenya border, and last year